Today I'm answering a few questions. Everybody wanted to know what was in there, and I've said it a lot of times, but here goes again. It's a sugar water mix, and it was granulated sugar, not raw sugar. You don't want to do raw sugar because that's bad for bees. It seems like they cannot digest that. So granulated sugar with no additives, no preservatives. I was doing 1 part sugar and 2 parts water, okay? And the amount that I was actually feeding them was like 80 ounces of sugar, and then doubling that in water, and that was giving me about 2.5 gallons of sugar water. And I would put it out there about 6:30 in the morning, and it would be pretty much consumed by 12 o'clock. So that answers another question about communal feeding. Okay, a lot of people were pissed off because it was communal feeding, and it's more prone to having infections and issues, spread disease. But I was washing my containers every night with vinegar and hot water using my hand, not a nasty sponge, because usually those sponges can like spread diseases. Just want to let you know. My sponge, I always put vinegar on it and I leave it sitting there overnight. But I was washing it with just hot water in my hand and vinegar, and there was no water left out there for it to ferment. So that way the bees would not show up at their hives all drunk. I was very, very thoughtful about that one, because it turns out that the hive will actually reject the bees if they show up drunk. Sounds like something some of us need to do with family members, huh? Where the bees were coming from, I have no idea. It looks like they were coming from 3 different directions. And, you know, whenever I would stand here and I would look, they were coming from that direction, and from over my house direction. Oh, how many times did I get stung? Oh, I got stung a lot of times. I stopped counting after 13. And one of the times I got stung was like on the tip of my nose, here on my lip. I got stung like close to my armpit. I started walking out there with shoes because I got stung a lot of times right under my feet. Like once in a while, accidentally, I would step on a bee and boom, I would get stung. But that was mostly towards the beginning. At the end, they kind of recognized me as the one that was serving their food, their little slave. For 29 days, I fed them. And hopefully I don't inspire you guys to just go ahead and do open feeding, because the only reason I started doing that is because Florida had a freeze, and Florida's freeze killed all the flowers, and I felt like I needed to step up. My hummingbird feeders got invaded by bees, and so I had to figure out a way of having my hummingbirds being able to get their food too. And that's when I started to feed the bees, which was hilarious. At first I was just doing it with a little dropper. Alrighty, hopefully that answers your questions. Thank you for watching. Bye.